Titleist U500 and U510 driving iron. Let's do it, and let's do it now. Hi everyone, my name's James Robinson, and on this channel I bring you guys golf related content every single day that helps you raise your game, hopefully lower that handicap, but mainly just gets you enjoying golf loads more. In today's video I'm reviewing the brand new Titleist U500 and U510 driving iron. Which one would suit you, which one would suit me, and which one would I potentially have in my golf bag? We're going to have to test them and find out, aren't we? Just before we do get into the meat of this review, I want you to do me a favour and hit those comments below. Let's have a quick conversation about these clubs. Could you see yourself using the brand new Titleist U500? Could you see yourself using the brand new Titleist U510? If you could, why or why not? Let me know. Driving irons have become quite a hit over the last few years. At the Open, we see loads of different driving irons. We see pin crossovers, we see TaylorMade Gapper lows, we see TaylorMade P790 UDIs, we see Titleist TMBs. Well, not necessarily anymore. These are the brand new utility irons. We have the U500, which stands for Utility 500. This is the much smaller, much sleeker, players looking iron. And then we have the 510, which is pretty much none of what I've just said there. These are two completely different golf clubs. I'm going to start with the 500, then we're going to move into the 510, and I'm going to tell you who exactly this could be designed for and why it could be a stroke of genius. Well, let's start with the 500 because it looks gorgeous. Now, the U500 and U510 range is designed to give more distance than a standard iron, less spin than a hybrid, and just expand shop options at the top of the bag. The U500 is a player's utility with a smaller head, sleeker looking, more compact, higher launch, softer landing, and features a forged high-strength steel L-face insert, high-density tungsten for more stability. This is available in a 2, 3 and 4 iron, whereas the 510 is available also in a 1 iron. That was real bottomy, really bottomy. Now I must say, in the warm-up that I had for this video, I absolutely nailed a couple of these U500s, and I'm hoping to get some for you today so you can see just how it performs when it's struck properly. How does it perform when it's not struck that well? It still does okay. You see, that's the big thing that puts me off a lot of driving irons. If I strike them well, yeah, it can be the best thing ever. It feels amazing, it feels special. But a lot of the time, if you don't strike a driving iron well, if you don't strike a utility iron well, you should definitely have hit hybrid. Now we're talking. Oh. Here we are. 230 yards, 3,000 spin. What more could you want from a driving iron? Gotta say as well, I do love the look of this thing. I love the look not only down at address, how it looks sleek, the blade length looks nice and short and refined, but in the bag as well, it doesn't look like a big clumsy driving iron. You may be mistaken for the i510 because that does look a little bit bigger with its massive, massive, really big sole. But this thing sort of just like sits in the bag, it's just there minding its own business, no one points at it and says, oh, what's that? It's just a nice, sleek looking iron in the bag. Should we talk U510? Now you could be forgiven for thinking that the 510 is just the 500's big, clumsy looking brother, but actually, I think this is a stroke of genius. I'm going to hit a couple of shots and then I'm going to talk you through exactly why. Looking down at the ball, it does look absolutely massive. The blade length just looks, to be fair, the blade length looks very much like the pin crossover. Real big blade length. But I guess for the people that are going to be using this club, that's what you want. You want that look of forgiveness. You want the element of confidence when you put the club down. As well as the blade length when looking down at it, you can see a little bit of real estate behind it. That would put me off a little bit. It does look a little bit more like a hybrid, but then it is designed to perform a little bit more like a hybrid. And then you hit that, and all is forgiven. That was frightening. For a club that looks so big, so clumsy, so almost oaf-like, look at the size of that sole. The size of that sole is absolutely massive. But that all can be forgiven for the shots that this spring produces. I've said this could be a stroke of genius, and I honestly think it is. This is designed for the guy who should probably be using a hybrid, should definitely be using a hybrid, has no business not using a hybrid, but doesn't like hybrids, doesn't want hybrids, has never got on with hybrids. You see for me, whenever I teach people and we're looking at hybrids or we're maybe fitting hybrids, people either strike them really, really well or really, really bad, like miss them, top them, slice them, shank them. Things can be terrible with hybrids. So if you don't want a hybrid, you prefer the tradition of looking down at an iron. Obviously this thing is bigger than a traditional iron, it's way bigger than a traditional iron, but the technology that's in here is designed just to help massively. That was mega healy, and it's actually done better than the shot that I felt was good for the first shot. Consistency on this thing is just unbelievable. So technology that goes into the U510, we have very similar technology that goes into the U500. We're still trying to get that high launch soft landing, we've still got the forged high steel L-face insert, and we still have the high density tungsten weighting for more stability. So basically the U510 is a U500 on steroids. Now that shot there is a mega interesting shot for me because I hit it way out the toe, it's still gone a long way, the spin's dropped off massively, it's not gone half as high as the other shots, but it's still out there at 230 yards. I can only imagine what this thing's like in a 1 and 2 iron. This thing's crazy. This thing is, to me, the U510 is almost like magic. I can't believe how far that's gone, even off the miss hits. This thing, for me, does exactly what it sort of says on the tin. The wide sole, everything about it says high launch, says forgiveness, says just hit me wherever you want and I'm going to go pretty much where you want me to. So guys, two pretty different clubs there, the U500 and the U510. I've hit a bunch of shots with both. Both, I think, offer something very, very different. The U500 offers that kind of shot shaping versatility, play it down, play it up, play it however you want, whereas the 510, just aim at your target, hit it, and it's probably going to do okay for you. Let's have a look at the numbers, let's see what the differences are. I'm looking forward to this. So initially, ball flights of the 510 as opposed to the 500. So you can see most of them getting up there higher than the 500. What about performance? So the 500 there, 224, 214, 219, 219, 227. Pretty good swings there. There were a couple of swings that I weren't happy with, a couple out of the toe. The last one was the one that I told you about that hit in the warm-up, which was just absolutely nailed. Average distance 221. Average spin 3,200, so very, very nice for that kind of iron. And an average height of 102 feet in the air. But what about the 510? What about the monster? 225, 226, 219 on a shocking swing, 235 on a toey one, and 236 on what was, for me, felt like the best swing of the day. Average 228, so 228 as opposed to 221. And I've got to say, that's no surprise because all those shots really, even the bad ones, felt pretty awesome. Average spin, 3,500 again, so spin rate is actually very, very similar. The 510 spinning a little bit more, which it is designed to do. It's designed to stay in the air longer, and I would guess that it's gone 119 feet in the air on average as opposed to 102. So to round things up, guys, the U500, the U510, what do I think? I think the U500 has its own special little place for probably the better player, the player that's wanting to play it up, play it down, play it around things. They feel very, very nice. I'm quite surprised in how hard they feel. I was expecting them to feel a little bit softer, but then for this type of club, I think you are wanting that slightly harder feel. I have just tested the TaylorMade P790 UDI, and it feels very, very similar to the U500. So probably very similar clubs there. I'm actually playing them in the same shaft at the minute as well. Both these shafts have been the Hazardous Smoke 6.0, and that's the same shaft which I tested the UDI club in. So if you want to see a review of that, I will link it somewhere or somewhere abouts. As for the 510, this thing This is probably the club which I've tested a lot of clubs today. I've tested hybrids, I've tested irons, I've tested utility clubs, and this was probably the club which I was least interested in trying. I wasn't really that bothered. It looks a little bit big, it looks a bit clumsy, but if you're looking for a club that does exactly what you want it to, off the tee, from the fairway, from around 200, it depends how far you're going to hit it, but for me around 230 yards, I would definitely consider having the 510, not in the bag all the time, and if you're not playing very well, if you're not hitting your driver very well, not hitting your 3-wood very well, I just couldn't seem to miss this thing. Even the bad shots just seemed to get out there a long way down the fairway, a long way towards the green, and that's exactly what Titleist are claiming this thing is for. I'd be very, very interested to try it in a 1-iron or even a 2-iron and seeing if it launched as easy as these have both been 3-irons. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed that review on the brand new Titleist U500 and U510. If you have enjoyed that, make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave us a like if you enjoy this type of content, because that means the world to me. It lets me know that you know that I know that we know that they know that you know that I know that you're enjoying this content. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow.